Okay. It is the 75th anniversary of the NBA. It is the 75th anniversary of the Boston Celtics as a franchise. And to honor that, the Celtics have decided to be one of the absolute worst versions of themselves in their 75-year history. And that has all possibly culminated tonight with what can only be described as an utterly humiliating loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And if it was the Timberwolves with all three of their stars, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, it wouldn't have been a bad loss. It's on the road. They're a decent team. If it was the Timberwolves with two of their three stars, okay, that happens. If it was the Timberwolves with one of their three stars, oh man, that stinks. But that guy, Karl Anthony Towns, really went off. No, it was the Timberwolves with none of their stars, none of their backups, a bunch of G Leaguers, some 10-day contract guys, a couple of guys they found roaming the streets of Minneapolis and St. Paul, shoveling snow. That's who the Timberwolves put on the court tonight. And the Celtics lost to that team. And they lost to that team by doing what has become their signature move, blowing a double-digit fourth quarter lead. I mean, let's just look at the guys that the Timberwolves trotted out there tonight, and you tell me if be honest, have you ever heard of any of these guys? Jaden McDaniels, Nathan Knight, Josh Okogie, Jordan McLaughlin, Malik Beasley. Those were the starters for the Timberwolves tonight. Here was their bench: Chris Silva, Jake Layman, Jaylen Noel, and then Greg Monroe, who you probably have heard of because, well, he did play on the Celtics. He was a lottery pick, a star at Georgetown. He hasn't played in the NBA in 3 years. 3 years. You want to know what Greg Monroe did tonight? 25 minutes, 5 of 9 from the floor, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 11 points. He put up a mini Nikola Jokic stat line on you. He hasn't played in the NBA in 3 years. He's 106 years old. And he toyed with the Celtics. Jaylen Noel, you know who he is? I didn't coming into this game, and I, pride myself as an NBA junkie. 35 minutes, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists off the bench. Nathan Knight, any clue? Nathan Knight, 20 points, 4 assists, 11 rebounds, a steal, and a block. These are the guys. These are the guys that handed the Celtics one of their, if not their worst loss in franchise history. This Celtics team sucks. They have no heart. They have no balls. They have no confidence. They have no coaching. They have no chemistry. Their general manager is checked out or doing whatever. Their ownership doesn't give two flying shits about what's going on with this team. It's an embarrassment. It's a flat out embarrassment. And as a fan of the Celtics, I feel humiliated. I don't want to watch these games anymore. What's the upside of watching it? The Celtics squeak out a painful win? This team sucks. They're trash. And they're trash when they have 10 guys in the COVID protocols. They're trash when they have 0 guys in the COVID protocols. They're just not a good team, period, because they don't have the things that make up being a good team. They don't have, like I said, chemistry, coaching, the right players, the right fits, a GM who cares, players who care, owner who cares. They don't have any of that. The only people who seem to care is the people on Twitter who make a million excuses for them. Now, finally, I'm seeing a lot of people agreeing with me tonight. This is one of the worst losses they've ever seen. I've been a Celtics fan for 30 plus years. Some people have been a Celtics fan for 50, 60 years. They've been a team for 75 years. This is legitimately one of the worst losses they've ever had. And the final score is 103-108, so it wasn't by like a wide margin, an embarrassing blowout. It's, again, the guys that they played against. And I know Jayson Tatum didn't play, Marcus Smart didn't play, Dennis Schroeder. You had a bunch of guys who were in the COVID protocol. Okay, you had Al Horford, you had Rob Williams, you had Jaylen Brown. That should be more than enough to beat this team that if you want to call it that the Timberwolves trotted out. Then in addition to that, you had Romeo Langford, who's played as a starter a lot of this season. Uh, Grant Williams, who's played as a starter a lot this season, Peyton Pritchard played a pretty damn good game for himself, filling in the starting lineup, and you still lost to this team because you did the same crap that you do every fourth quarter. You melt down. You got outscored by 10 points in the fourth quarter. You had an 11-point lead, I believe, at some point in the fourth. It's incomprehensible that this team does the same thing over and over again. And it doesn't matter if they're playing the Golden State Warriors of the world or the G League Minnesota Timberwolves with the mayor of Minneapolis as a starting point guard. They will do it to anybody because they are fatally and fundamentally flawed. And it's not a team that you should throw your support behind. It's a team that has underperformed now for several years. Take away the conference finals that they made and stuff like that. This team's so far removed from that. And now I hear people saying, well, Isaiah Thomas, bring him back in. That'll be fun. No, it won't. You know what's fun? Winning. I don't give a shit who they bring in terms of these 10-day contracts. And yeah, okay, hey, Joe Johnson's here. Like, yeah, it's fun. Like for a second, I would rather Joe Johnson, never step foot in the city of Boston again if it meant the Celtics were good. I'd rather Isaiah Thomas be forgotten from our collective memories if that meant the Celtics were good. No offense to those guys. I enjoy watching them play, but I'd much rather have a good team than have a nice story. So the Isaiah Thomas thing is, if the Celtics end up doing that for a 10-day contract, that is a classic distracting from what's going on move. I mean, as blatant as it gets. People should be up in arms about how bad this team is and how embarrassing and pathetic this loss is. And this should not be a one-off game where you just go, it was not their night. They didn't shoot well from the floor. They never shoot well from the floor. This team sucks. Just admit it. I need everybody to admit it. I feel like I'm losing my mind. The Celtics this year, and last year too, frankly, suck. They're a bad team. The best thing they could do for themselves right now is shut down Tatum and Brown and everybody else for the season and tank the rest of the way. That's the best thing they could do for themselves right now. The second best thing they could do for themselves, trade away one of Tatum and Brown for another star and see if that fixes things. The worst thing they could do for themselves, keep this up. Keep hoping it's going to work. Oh, when our players will get healthy, maybe. No. No. This team, healthy, sick, injured, on fire, underwater, up in the air. They're bad no matter what. Against the G League team, against the 1992 Dream Team, they're bad. Doesn't matter in what scenario you play them. They're a bad team. They need to completely reevaluate this thing from top to bottom. I know Udoka hasn't even been here half a year. They need to seriously look at him. They need to seriously look at every single piece of their roster, from Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to the guy who sweeps the under the basket. Everything. This is awful. It's awful to watch. It makes me want to vomit. And if I'm dreading watching games as a guy who is obsessed with the Celtics and has been for 3 decades, why would any casual fan watch this? The goal is to win championships, and I said this last time, to sell hope. The Celtics are not close to winning championships. They're not close to selling hope. So, again, the best thing they can do for themselves, shut it down. Tank City. Second best thing, trade one of your 2 stars and see if that works. The only thing they can't do is what they've been doing now, because it looks like they don't care. And that's I don't know how you could take it any other way. It doesn't seem like anybody in the organization cares at all. Let's get into the box score before we get out of this awful game. Starters were Al Horford, Rob Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Romeo Langford. Horford, 34 minutes, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 16 points, a block, a steal. Who cares? Rob Williams, 22 minutes, 3 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, a steal, 4 blocks, and 8 points. Somehow couldn't muster double-digit points despite playing a front line made up of, anonymous people. Peyton Pritchard started and played team-high 45 minutes. He had 23 points on 8 of 22 shooting, 5 of 14 from the three-point line, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, 1 steal. Stat line looked pretty good, but didn't make a difference. Also makes it more infuriating that for up until about 5 games ago, he just was not playing at all, period. Too good of a player to not play, Udoka. I'm sorry, but that's just terrible, terrible talent evaluation. Jaylen Brown, 39 minutes, 26 points, 8 of 24 from the floor, 2 of 8 from three, 8 of 13 from the free throw line. That's not good enough from the free throw line at all. 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 turnovers, and just absent in the fourth quarter. Just when the Celtics needed him most, he disappeared like the Avatar. Just absolutely disappeared. And that's not what a star player does. That's not what even an all-star player does. Romeo Langford, 36 minutes, 2 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 4 from three, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 8 points. Fine, whatever. He's not a good shooter. He's a strong defensive player. He'd probably be a good fit on a good team, but on a terrible team that lacks scoring and shooting, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Off the bench, you got 9 minutes from Jabari Parker, 3 points. Grant Williams returned to the Celtics. He played 28 minutes off the bench, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. Hernan Gomez can be fired out of a cannon as far as I'm concerned. 16 minutes, 0 of 3 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds and assists, and 2 points. And Sam Hauser got some burn, 11 minutes, 1 of 4 from the floor. They were all 3-point attempts, a rebound, and 3 points, and the Celtics lose 103 to 108, fall to 16 and 18. Minnesota 16 and 17. Yeah, one of, if not the most humiliating losses I can remember since I've been watching this team, and I've been watching this team for a long time now. And I really, really hope, and I'm crossing my fingers, that either Wick Grousbeck and the rest of the Celtics owners wake up tomorrow morning and say, we got to do something, and we got to do something now, or they wake up tomorrow morning and say, we got to sell the team to somebody who's really, really loaded and get the hell out of Dodge and let them, rebuild, and let someone who gives a shit, take over. That is it. That's all I got for you. This is, something that I enjoy doing is these post games, and it's become like a chore, an unfun chore. So good job, Celtics. Thank you for that. Their next game is on Wednesday. Unfortunately, it's against the Clippers, who handed the Celtics one of their also more embarrassing losses of the season earlier, just a couple weeks ago. Let's see if they do it again. I guess I'll be back for that one. Leonard, I see you in the chat. Yeah, I know you feel the same way as I do. Thanks for everybody for watching and sticking with this and listening to me. And I'd say if you're on social media, tweet at the Celtics to make a change. It's got to be a grassroots campaign now. I'll lead the way. All right. I'll talk to you, everybody. See ya.